In the slum area on the outskirts of Phnom Penh, there is a group of non-governmental organizations, NGO members working and living among the poor. They are members of Servants to Asia's Urban Poor, an organization which originated in New Zealand. So what is their motivation? The group, consisting of many nationalities, had to undergo orientation training before coming here. I met many of them in Christchurch at such a training. From Joan's house, I made my way to the hospital. She came from Wellington and has been working with Cambodians for many years. Every day begins with prayer. Their main source of strength and inspiration for the mission of love and care. Their work indeed flows from their compassionate heart as they pray individually, sharing within the team. Sonia is from France.
So in September, as our organization, we did a survey around the hospital just to get to know more about the area, so we can just know more about the needs of the people. So we went from house to house, about 350 houses, and we were asking questions to mothers with little children under 5 years. And so some of the team today spent time at our house to do interpretation about the survey. It's a lot of work, but it's very interesting, and you get to know a lot about the community.
Road to Health card because we want healthy children.
Peter is the team leader. He is to introduce her to the hospital.
The Servants here is one of quite a large number of non-governmental organizations or NGOs who are working here in Cambodia in health projects. And we're working in a small hospital in the south of Phnom Penh called Mien Che District Hospital. It covers a district of about 100,000 people, and it's meant to be a small general hospital for this area. The facilities at the hospital are really very limited, and the services that have been offered have been very basic up until now. So our aim in coming out here as one of the NGOs is to work alongside the government staff who are already there, and to try and encourage them as they develop the services that are being offered in and through the hospital, and with 3 small dispensaries in the district. Ultimately, we're hoping to build more of a community-based primary healthcare program, looking at aspects of preventative healthcare, health education, immunizations, and so on.
And to learn a language, if you work together and you have some basics, you are able to communicate. And it's just by working together, by sitting together, that you can learn lots of vocabulary or just also interesting things about the culture. So it's by working. You don't have to sit behind your desk.
This woman is a neighbor of ours, and she complained that she didn't get the medicine when she came with her child, and that the people would charge her. And that is why I went with her today, that she gets the medicine and then she doesn't get charged. Yeah. Now she got medicine. For 3 days. And if it's not better,
Many poor people, the foreign hospital staff is a savior or someone who they can rely on because their approach to people is with understanding and concern.
The funds that we've had for the project have come from a variety of sources. Again, one of the main principles that Servants works on is that any funds that come into the organisation should be channeled directly to the poor amongst whom we're working. So every expatriate member of the team has raised his or her own support for the time that they're here, and that's come largely through friends and through our own home churches supporting each one of us.
And
These supplies we received from another voluntary agency, and we're just going to put them into the pharmacy.
For Eliana's room. We've set up a small fund largely for personal donations and gifts that we're using as I suppose, an emergency relief fund for patients who come up to the hospital who don't have family around them or who have particular needs. So, for example, we've had an old lady who was brought into the hospital with no family to care for her, and we've been able to provide for somebody to come in and cook for her and provide the food that she needs. We've had assistance from the World Food Programme in providing a hospital feeding program whereby we are able to supply rice and oil to all the inpatients in the hospital, and that's a great bonus so that they can at least get some basic nutrition and, if necessary, supplement that from their own pockets or again from this fund that we've developed.
the area is surrounded with poor Khmer people and ethnic Vietnamese. The hospital treats each patient with equality. The NGO staff are doing their best to pass a message of love to all races. This Vietnamese man, injured by a bystander, was accused of snake stealing. Criminal acts in Cambodia are almost unaccountable and hard to have a full account. The horrors of homicide is shown daily in the newspapers. There's no lenience for those who are caught.
Is that near here? In Cambodia, but not in Phnom Penh. One of the things that really has struck me is the difference in, I suppose, general medical and nursing care here from what I'm used to back in England. It seems a lot of what we would consider to be routine nursing care is left to the families to be doing. So looking after the patients, turning them, feeding them, dressing wounds and so on. A lot of that is left for the families to do, with the nurses just coming and going on a very relaxed basis. And to try and instill some basic principles of nursing care, of compassion, we found hasn't been very straightforward at times. Those are some of the frustrations that I suppose we face. There's the difficulties of not having the equipment and facilities that you're used to, and if you have a patient that you would normally do a range of investigations on, knowing that you don't have those investigations at hand means you have to rely a lot more on your clinical skills and your own judgment, and just accepting that you can't always give the best that you would want to.
Everybody who is sick, and it's the adults, women, men, every disease they have here. And downstairs we have a big hall where they usually keep the very serious diarrhea patients. It's an awful hall, the roof is leaking and it's quite dirty there. We try to change that, but it takes time till the staff is able to see that they put patients in a very dirty room.
Is that the Khmer approach to things is a lot less intensive than we would expect at home, and it often doesn't seem to matter if things are left for a day or two before being picked up on, and that can at times create some conflict between our interests and the interests of the hospital staff. There doesn't seem to be any system for arranging things in advance, and meetings are often called at the last minute, by which time you then have to cancel some of the other things that you've arranged.
The place is run under the hospital Khmer director who has been working here since 1979. He says, due to the lack of facilities, medicine, and severe financial problems, we are unable to function well as a hospital. Since general election has come from different organizations which have provided medicine and equipment. But because the staff salaries are so low, additional means of support is sought, and this affects hospital running.
របស់បុគ្គលិកដែលនៅតែក្នុងថ្នាក់ពីបញ្ហាជីវភាពក៏វាមិនទាន់បានដោះស្រាយឲ្យបានទូលំទូលាយដែរ
The servants to Asia's urban poor are here among the people, not just to give hands out, but to give them encouragement and inspiration to help themselves and each other. Everyone enjoys working here. Today, more people are coming to the hospital. Because of help from the servants and the good cooperation between Khmer staff and NGOs, people are trusting us more. So we are able to send staff into the community. We lack in the provision of office facilities and are not able to supply patients meals. The director gives thanks for all the support.
សម្ភារៈការិយាល័យរបស់ខ្ញុំគឺទទេមិនដែលបានអីទេ
We're here in the garden of the retreat house. We have a nice little pavilion here where we can sit and eat breakfast at times when we've got the whole team together. It's a lot cooler out in the garden than it is in the house during the heat of summer. But it's really very nice having a bit of greenery. We're very privileged in having this retreat house here, which is a very peaceful, quiet place, and is often used by the team, by members of the team, just as a chance to get away from it all. And we all feel that way at times, where it just becomes a bit too much, all the differences, not having the comforts that we're used to, constantly having to think what we're saying and think through translating it and not quite understanding. So there are times when you just want to get away from it all, shut yourself away in your room, or listen to some music, or just something that will take your mind off the cultural differences, I suppose the culture shock that we all face to some extent.
Cambodians suffer so much from poverty, disease, and the consequence of conflict. The team, even those aware of God's presence, may not take anything for granted. They need prayerful support.
Yes, New Zealand can help by giving the right sort of aid to establish the pharmacies, to establish the hospitals, aid to establish agricultural services which will then be self-sustainable. Any aid we give must be such that it will encourage the people to support themselves rather than to just live on handouts.
The Cambodian people themselves are lovely, friendly people who I think have been very disillusioned by all that they've been through. And one of the things that we're constantly coming up is a very negative attitude that people will see the problems but not see any solutions to them. And a thing we hear time and time again is, oh, that's just such a big problem, we can't do anything about it. And one of the advantages we have, I suppose, coming in as outsiders, is that we can see even the very small steps that are being taken and provide some encouragement to the people in that, so that things are happening, but I suppose at a very slow pace, and to be able to pick out what's being done that's worthwhile and really encourage that and build on that is, I think, one of the greatest things that we're being able to offer at the
Constructing the